Toyota is not an exciting car brand. They rarely lead new design trends, and even less frequently are they first to market with some kind of new breakthrough feature. Maybe the car the general public knows them the best for in the Prius is a punchline because of how boring it is. Yet, in terms of actually selling cars and making money, which is their goal at the end of the day, Toyota is an absolute monster. They are the best-selling automaker in the entire world, selling more than Honda, Nissan, and BMW combined. And this success did not come about on accident. It is because of Toyota's systems and their strategy, which has led to vehicle reliability, customer trust, and ultimately long-term success. This mindset that Toyota has now, we can trace all the way back to the days following World War II. Post-war Japan was a very bleak place, and Toyota's factories were heavily damaged during the war. So as Toyota transitioned back to making cars again, they simply could not afford to be wasteful in production and to constantly be doing rework or carrying large inventories. This would ultimately give rise to the Toyota production system. So there are two main pillars that really define it. The first would be just-in-time manufacturing. This is the idea of only producing what is needed, when it's needed, and only in the quantities in which it's needed. The other key pillar is jidoka, which essentially means building quality into the process from the start. This just means assuring quality further upstream in the manufacturing process, opposed to letting a bunch of defects make it downstream and messing everything up. There were also some cultural aspects like continuous improvement and having respect for others that contributed to Toyota's culture and helped support these two key pillars. So what this ends up resulting in is an organization that is laser focused on minimizing waste and fixing problems at the start. They are just so laser focused on doing one thing exceptionally well and blocking out all of the other noise. But of course, if you are so laser focused on just doing this one thing, there's going to be some opportunity costs there, and there's going to be other things you're missing out on. In the case of the auto industry, this means that Toyota's cars generally aren't going to have the latest and greatest features that many customers are looking for. Toyota's philosophy here is almost the complete opposite of a brand like Tesla, where Tesla is rapidly iterating and essentially running beta tests on their own consumers. Toyota is pretty much doing the opposite in every aspect possible. So back to our history lesson. Toyota wouldn't really establish themselves in the US as a mainstream automaker until the 1970s in the oil crisis. This was a time where there became massive demand for compact, efficient cars, and Toyota was there to supply them with the Camry and the Corolla. And these were really just perfect cars for the time. This was a period in which American automakers were really struggling with quality control and just generally to make competitive compact cars. Toyota stepped in and really established themselves as a trustable automaker that makes reliable cars, albeit if they're a bit boring. At the tail end of the 1980s, Toyota would launch Lexus, which directly competed with the likes of BMW and Mercedes, but came in at a lower cost and with much better reliability. One area in which Toyota may have actually been ahead of the technological curve would be with hybrids. When they launched the Prius in the year 2000, there were already some other hybrids out in the market, but the Prius really became a staple and has had a unique amount of staying power. So next, let's talk about how Toyota's strategy has actually given them a competitive advantage in the car market. From a production standpoint, we've already talked about their relentless pursuit of quality control. But what makes quality control a bit easier is when you're not constantly changing things. With the obvious exception of the Prius, Toyota is very slow to adopt new technology, which then gives them more time to perfect what they've already been doing. And this philosophy extends from everything from the infotainment screen to the powertrains that Toyota uses in their cars. Their key goal is optimizing for durability, serviceability, and cost. And this has done wonders for the brand in the eyes of consumers. Customers consistently say that Toyota builds some of the most reliable cars on the entire market, which means their new cars are constantly in very high demand, and their used cars hold their value exceptionally well, which lowers the total cost of ownership. Beyond just reliability, the actual structure and market position of their lineup is really good. For one, when they tend to introduce a new nameplate, they stick to it for the long term. Names like Corolla and Camry have been on sale in the US for over 50 years, and even some more recent additions like Highlander or RAV4, Toyota has continued to stick with. And they also just compete in the places within the market where you want to be if you want to sell a lot of cars. So very entry-level compact cars, but then also spanning the whole suite in terms of SUVs, from very compact crossovers to full-size body-on-frame trucks. And within each one of these segments, they've gotten just very good at picking the middle of the market. Toyota is not going to be the lowest priced, but they're also not going to be the most expensive. They just consistently offer something that seems like the rational option. Now, none of this is to say that Toyota is perfect and they don't make mistakes, because they have had a series of very high-profile mistakes. Maybe the most infamous was a series of recalls from 2009 to 2011 that were associated with various Toyota models experiencing unintended acceleration. Basically, for a few different reasons, people's gas pedals were getting stuck and causing them to get into high-speed crashes. And more recently, calling into account some of their reliability cred, they have had a massive series of recalls that are associated with the twin-turbo V6 engines that they've been putting in a bunch of their trucks. And some of these mistakes extend just beyond recalls, and there are actual strategic blunders they've made. Maybe most notably was the launch of the Scion brand, which was Toyota's attempt to appeal to younger buyers and turn them into lifelong Toyota fans. But what ended up happening was a few years of initial success, and then essentially this new brand just fizzled out. And there can also just be some plain downsides to the way in which Toyota conducts business. The inherent conservatism that keeps Toyota's cars extremely reliable can also mean that Toyota could potentially get left behind. For example, Toyota's big bet on hybrids over EVs so far has seemed to work out, but at the same time, they've also ceded a ton of ground to new startup brands like Tesla. And in the case that there is a rapid change in demand for the types of new cars that people want, whether that is just consumer preferences or maybe there's some kind of government mandate, Toyota is very far behind the competition. Lastly, many enthusiasts would still critique Toyota for being a brand that generally lacks passion. And in fact, there was a good 15-year hiatus from the early 2000s to the late 2010s where Toyota did not care for the enthusiast market in the slightest. They were perfectly content selling their boring, practical, but characterless cars and making a ton of money doing it. Now, to Toyota's credit, in the past few years, they've really made an effort to re-enter the performance car market, and even now launching this new GR brand. But I still think it's a little bit less than what Toyota is truly capable of as the best-selling automaker in the world. Other people would argue, though, that a car brand having a passionate following is completely irrelevant to how successful that car brand is as an actual business, because there's a ton of car brands that people are very passionate about that don't sell any cars, so maybe this whole point is irrelevant. What's maybe worth reiterating is that Toyota does not dominate the auto industry for any of the fun, exciting reasons that we like to dream about. They dominate because they are relentless about perfection. And perfecting that thing might mean that you fall behind some of the latest trends and aren't able to offer some of the latest features. But that really doesn't matter, because when you end up perfecting that thing, you can build cars that are extremely durable, reliable, serviceable, hold their value well, and are in exceptionally high demand, and you can then go and sell a ton of cars.